Test, test, test. Test, test, test. There we go. That sounds better. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I apologize for the rocky start, and welcome to this week's eVetSites orientation. I guess before I start, make sure that we open up the chat window here. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Great, excellent. So for those that don't know, my name is Jose Galvin. I work here at eVetSites. Happy to be part of VIN. My background is in technology. I am not a veterinarian, though I have grown to greatly appreciate them much more since I've been a part of VIN here, and we're coming up on 9 years. So let me see if this helps out. Spencer says that I'm in a well. What if I try? How about this? Is this better?
So then it's a PDF form, so that means that if you guys
Test, test.
Yeah, you have to find the actual copy of it, and then make the adjustments on there. Yeah, so then when you
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, I just want to know if this one is better than the previous one. If not, then I can switch. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay. So anyways, perfect. So here's me. That's this guy right here. This is my daughter. This is us playing Pokemon Go. And I've been working here for about 9 years. And I'm excited to help you with SEO, hopefully answer some questions. We're going to do a kind of a general overview of it, and I'm going to show you some real world examples. I know that this was advertised also in VIN this week, so even if you don't have any eVetSites, some of the information that we have here will be helpful. I don't want you to think that it's going to be only okay if somebody has, you know, our particular product. You can still use it. So that said, let's just jump right in. The first thing I want to do is we'll talk about SEO, just what it is. It's short for search engine optimization. And if you have ever used a search engine, which I'm sure everyone here has, you've probably wondered, why is it that some sites rank better than others? And even if you type this in incorrectly, you'll still get Google to do it. So SEO is the process, the means, the different strategies for getting your site to load up, to rank higher on a search engine result. I'm going to use Google mostly here, but this also applies to Bing and to Yahoo. When we look at search results, usually, and these are all organic here, so there's no advertisements or anything like that. Now, if I do something like this, then we'll see these ads. So ads don't really fall under the umbrella of SEO because you're paying for it. And so, all these results that you see here are not, part of it. Hey, look at this. These guys are doing all right. So, we'll talk about this. So SEO, the definition is it's just ranking high for organic or non-paid results. It's broken up into two main parts. The first part is your on-site SEO. The on-site SEO has everything to do with the content on your page. Where do you service? What do you do? Things that you offer to your clients. In this case, these folks are offering service to people that live in these communities. That way it gives them a chance for the running to go ahead and show up for that. There's other things that we'll go into for the on-site SEO, including the way that the site is structured, the way that the pages are put together and linked and things like that. So that's the on-site SEO, really, really big picture. Now, off-site as SEO has to do with how many links are connected to your site, or how people know that your site exists just by the listings that it has on different search engines, directories, and things like that. Does anyone want to be a guinea pig? Does anyone want to share your practice in the chat window? I will put it through here so we can see how it appears, and if not, then I can always use my veterinarian, Dr. Katie True, a longtime VIN member, which is funny because she was my vet before I started working here, and I can put her information in here if no one else wants me to put in theirs in this little analytics tool that we're going to use here. And what this is, Moz, is just one of many. There's a lot of different ones out there, but this is checking to see how the site looks. How does the world view it? So I'm going to put in the name of the practice. This here, this is a free site. The Moz folks do want to sell me stuff, but I'm going to just use this just to, again, touch on the offsite stuff. So this is how the listings appear, and by listings I mean how does it appear? So here's Midtown Animal Hospital. Now look at this one. This one says Midtown Animal Hospital. It's got the name of another doctor. This doctor, I'm not even sure if she works there, but there is, I know for a fact that Dr. True, who's the owner, she, again, she's a VIN member, and she, her name isn't on here. If this one underneath has a different phone number, and notice that it doesn't have the URL. That's kind of like the main deal. The more of these that you have, the more listings, the consistency, this all plays into your off-site SEO, and we'll dig into that more. I just wanted to introduce the two. So the on-site SEO in general is the stuff that you do on the website, the actual building blocks of the website. And then the off-site SEO is working with these listings where we can actually go to a different company like YP or Super Pages, Bing, Yahoo, Facebook, and we can tell them, hey, I'm starting a new practice, or I have an existing practice, and you've got the wrong suite on there, or the wrong zip, or we have a new website URL. This is where you can make these sorts of changes. I heard some more beeps in here, so if I missed some folks, welcome. Again, my name is Jose. We're doing an introduction to SEO orientation today. I invite you all to ask questions, and I'll probably reach out to you afterwards to hopefully set up a one-on-one so we can delve more into the specifics of your practice later on. Okay, so actually I'm going to use Family Vet because they also said I can use their site. So this is one of our clients, Family Veterinary Clinic. The site's relatively brand new, and they've got some pretty decent SEO, but I'm still going to talk about the things that we can do for on-site SEO. The big thing that there's a lot of different rules for SEO. Ranking signals is the official term if you're taking notes, and there are literally dozens of these. If there's not any one magic bullet that can just rocket you to the top, nor is there a poison pill that if you do it will just drop you down. It's all math. Google just looks at it and says, well, hey, do they have information on here that's good information? Do they have useful information? Is the site put together in an easily, in a way that's easy to navigate? And if so, then great. then we're going to go ahead and rank this site higher than the other ones. So for example, if we, all right, so if we look at this site here, we give everyone some stock content. Like if you're on an eVetSite, then you're going to have some stock content on there, which we're hoping you'll change to reflect your practice. Every practice is different, and I mean, like again, I've been working here for many years, but I know that every practice has their unique personality. They have unique strengths, you know, whether it's the area that you service, the offerings, etc. So these folks, you know, they're telling people here is where we, you know, these are some of the areas that we service. We do medical, surgical, dental services. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, now if and you want to, you know, SEO applies to all their pages, so the content that you've got here is obviously different than the information that you've got on the contact us page. But they still have, you know, the town there, and they still have ways of people getting a hold of them. The About Us is going to be different because they're going to talk about the team. So here's the doctors. They talk about the doctors, where they are, you know, the different staff members, because this humanizes it, right? I mean, we're not just no offense to the other companies out there, the initial companies that have you know, chains and whatnot. There's great people that work there, both vet techs and veterinarians. But it's different, right? There's different staff there all the time. There's a lot of change. You're not sure, you know, what you're going to get. But, you know, like with my doctor, I know that Dr. Chu is going to be there. And same for these folks, Dr. Varner Massler is going to be there. You know, this is her baby. This is her work. And so by humanizing, you can go ahead and help. Okay, so the content's important. Talk about what you do, where you do it. You can reinforce it, and not every page is going to be a page where you're going to talk about the areas that you service, right? So, for example, the hours page, which maybe this is pretty specialized, but here it doesn't really talk about the areas. If we look at you know, this part here, another kind of an intro here. This is a history, which I think is great. This really helps out. So this is telling people, here's who we are, the different things that we've done. You know, it gives a kind of a background on there that again really personalizes it. If there's someone on the staff that does any charity work, any kind of community involvement, talk about the 5K, the Halloween event that you've got at the practice. Like all of those things help to make the page stand out so that Google says this is original content. And if you need some help with original content, or if you're not sure, you're going to kind of get kind of a, you know, a brain freeze on it, you know, call in. We can help kickstart it, because I know sometimes we're more critical of our own work than others are, and I can help you find the things that can really make it stand out. Okay, so we've talked about the original content, your locations, and things like that. Now let's talk about the actual pages, the page content. So here's an image of a lady with a cute cat. And if you notice when I mouse over, you'll see this text: Cat Care in Crofton, Maryland, Family Veterinary Clinic. This is called alt text, an image tag. There's a couple different ways of describing it. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the chat on how to go ahead and add these tags. Every image is important. So let's say we're looking for, it helps add to the overall score for the website. So if you're on another platform, it might be a little different. For eVetSites, we log in, you click the key, down in the lower left-hand corner, you put in your username and password. Then we're going to go to edit content. On the image itself, so in this case, this one here with the cat, if you double-click the image, you'll see this image description field. You can use English here, conversational English. Jose's Pet Palace in Davis, California. We specializing in fear-free service, or Jose's cat repair. We only help cats in Davis and Yolo County. You can use sentences. You can split them up here with the dash. Don't just put snippets of words, because then it doesn't really help out. Remember that humans are going to read this when they mouse over, and also Google is going to look at it. So every image is an opportunity to kind of increase the word count. Here's one. If you notice, cat nutrition, cat spay and neuter, cat vaccines, cat exams. This whole section is about our feline friends. So they've got tags for all of these, and that's going to help out, because you may think, well, who searches by images? Well, let's say you're looking for you can certainly do a search like this, or you can do something like this. And then when you look at it, you're like, okay, well, this place looks really nice. Let's click on this. And if we click on the page, it takes us to these guys. They're nowhere near us, but they've got strong SEO because they've put text around the image talking about what they're doing, as well as on the actual stuff. So see, this one isn't as good, but they, wow, actually these don't even have it. But you can definitely, it all contributes to that. So adding the text to those images, and I've got the how-to here, and you can do it. And I have some examples here. For on your home page, vet clinic, vet serving town, village, neighborhood, and borough. Welcome to our site. The alt text, the image description is going to help out. Anyone have any questions about the images? So it's a really low-hanging fruit, very simple thing, and we have some that are kind of built in, but we also have some SEO that's built in. But you can certainly add to it, especially if you're building the site and adding content to it. Okay. The other thing we can do is the actual how the site appears in Google. So let's do. Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. All right, so if you've this, and you may know this trick, and if not, then this is a good one to take note of. If you ever want to know how Google views your website, the records that it has for it, you can go ahead and do so by typing in site : and then your domain name, and it will show you all the instances of your website. And so you can see here, they've got all these different results for the different pages. There's the home page, staff, dog vaccines, hours, policies, etc. This is if we do a one-on-one consult, or if you work with anyone for SEO, this is something that's going to be, this is a big diagnostic tool, because this is a place where a lot of people, a lot of SEO has to do with, especially for vets, has to do with location. In most cases, you're serving a metropolitan area, unless you have multiple locations, or you're in a really, really big city like Houston or LA or something. In general, you're going to service a certain area around your practice. So when you do that, you can look for areas to improve it. So this is a great spot. This is a great tag here: Family Veterinary Clinic, Crofton and Granville, Maryland, home. It tells you exactly, right off the bat, a whole bunch of information about it. This one, our staff family vet clinic, and then we don't really know where they're located. Dog vaccines, same thing. You can actually change these. And so I'm going to do this one here because I think it's important that we have the location, right? And they obviously, they have that as something that they want to go ahead and change. So I'm just going to make a little scratch sheet here for myself. And since I'm already logged in, I'm going to just go to this page. So on our system, this is how you can do it. If you are in another builder like WordPress or anything else, you may have a different location. You can also check with whoever hosts your site. Again, if you're one of the folks that doesn't have eVetSites. So if we go to Edit Menu, here is where we can see these things. Here is the title, here's the slug, here's the description. All three of these things appear when we do a search. And I'm not going to do it again, just so that we can see it. Okay. So here's what it looks like. And here are the corresponding fields. I hope this will make a little bit more sense. So here's the title. And the menu is obviously what it appears when you're, the menu is, the actual menu, the navigational thing. The title is this thing right here. This green part is called a slug, which I know it's kind of funny. And then the description is this stuff that's right in here. Now, notice that the content that's over here is different than what's in here. This is what happens when Google says, this is Google being a teacher and correcting your work. They're saying, actually, Jose, you need to do a do-over. Here's the stuff that I've outlined and read. Go ahead and put that in, and then resubmit it, and we'll take a look at it. So if the information that you've got in the description doesn't match a certain percentage of the stuff that's on the actual page, Google will adjust it. They're gonna, in some cases, they'll just replace it with the first line of text from the page. If you watch MMA at all, and if you watch any sort of competitive sports, you never want to let it go to the judges. So it's better to just change it yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the page, and I'm going to say, well, what's this page about? Well, hey, this is a pretty good description. Honestly, that's a great one. So let's use that. And then here is just a simple title that doesn't have a lot of information. But this is about dog vaccines, right? So let's do and let's talk about where we're located. All right. Now this isn't going to be an instant change, but at least now we've got, and I'll talk a little bit about how we can kind of push Google to update it. But at least now it's set up better. It's got more correct. The information more accurately reflects what's actually on here. Because remember, this is a shortcut. If when you have to put on your layperson hat or your customer hat when you do a search, and then you say, well, yeah, when I go do a search, if I see that something looks kind of sketchy, I'm not going to click on it. And the big blue text here of the title is is not only is important because of the words, it's also a physically, bigger thing to click on. So see right here, vaccines, we've got all this space. Adoptions, family veterinary clinic, crops and grounds. This is fantastic. It's using all of the real estate that we've got here versus dog vaccines and regular vaccines. See how they don't really, tell you, what's happening. And I would even go further, since this is, this talks about vaccines here, but let's differentiate it. Canine vaccines, right? We're taking Fido. And so this way you have that information. I know there's a lot in this one particular section, so I went ahead and made a document. Here it is. I'll put it in the chat again. And again, if anyone remembers, what I really want to impress upon is not that you've got so much work to do, but here's a place to do it. And I'll be happy to do it if we're on the phone together. We can chat for half hour, 45 minutes, whatever you can, however long you have to spare, and we can do some of this together. A big part of it has to be the conversation, though, because I need to know what areas are you servicing, what are the things you really want to come up for, what search results do you want to appear on. Those are all important, so we got to have that conversation. Anyway, so here's the how-to on how we can do these things. So you can do these sorts of stuff. So for example, Midtown, notice here that says Doco. It's a new location in Sacramento, and they're coming up for it. A lot of Bay Area transplants are living there, which is great. Young people with lots of money. I want them to give some of that money to my doctor, so that's okay. If she's happy, we're happy. Everyone's happy. So this is how to do those titles and the descriptions and the slugs. If anyone has any questions about that, go ahead and ask away. Again, this is all things that you can change, and on most web building site builders, you can go ahead and change these as well. Okay. All right, so let's talk now about how the site is put together. So here is a website, nice website. One of our newer ones. Got a cool slideshow and this map and everything. So these folks have a very few menus up here: home, about us, services, resources, and contact us. The structure of how a page is put together is a big part of the on-site SEO, because how it's put together makes it both easier for search engines to find information and for people. So when a search engine comes and you submit a site like familyveterinaryclinic.com, we're going to use a program like Google Search Console. Search Console is a free platform that Google has. We're trying to get every single site on it right now. It's part of one of my projects, along with getting SSL on every site. And it's one of the things that you can do is you can actually tell Google, hey, come by, come take a look at it. This is a different hospital, but the thing is still the same. Here I'm telling them, come by and take a look at this calendar page, or come look at the site map. Come take a look at whatever page. I literally tell it, maybe we've updated the home page, we've done some SEO work on it, we've updated it. Come by and take a look. Indexing happens regardless, but if you use this tool, you can speed it up. That's weird. So if you've ever done a search, which again we have, but here's some different ones. Hey, I know these folks. These are our people. you ever do a search, you see this little green arrow? The cached will tell you, um, killing me, guys. The, the little green arrow will usually tell you the last time that Google came by. Yeah, that one just flashed for a second. All right, UC Davis, don't let me down. Here we go. Whew. All right. So it doesn't always work, but in general, you'll get a cached version, and you can see this is Google's cache of this website. A snapshot has appeared on September 9th. Well, we're on the 12th. So in the meantime, maybe this goat has moved on to bigger and better things. Maybe this goat over here um, has just gained tenure somewhere. There's a lot of things that can change in that time, and maybe we don't have the latest version of the site. Generally, they'll be the latest one, but if you've changed things on your page, you want them to know. So you can go ahead and you can push the issue using Google Search Console, and you can go ahead and basically tell them, come and take a look at the website. So that said, when Google comes to your website to look at it, um, it's not a human, it's a program. What the program does is it just goes to the site and it looks for links. I'm just going to go ahead and hit tab here. There it goes. There's the links up here, and then here's the links down here. Your homepage should have according to the Google guidelines, and I don't have them right here, but their best case scenario is that you're able to navigate the site without using any of the clickable navigation. So clicking on these buttons. So you should be able to just start here, go here, and then continue on. I can see there's still some work there. Oh, and it looks like that link needs to be fixed too. This is great. So this is important because if you're on a mobile device, it's going to look like this. And this is the term for this thing is called the hamburger. You got to click it again. Kind of a pain, right? It's not necessarily that easy. But if you were to just tap this with your finger, now you can get to these. And if you have these different things, there's also a call to action, which is hugely important. Call to action is the end goal, right? Right now, there's the big, and yeah, I just realized I'm going up against the Apple event. Thank you, guys. So there's this Apple event going on right now, and so they want to, they've got a goal. Oh no, it starts at 10. You'll have plenty of time to see what this one is. Here's all their stuff. What's the main goal for this website? Oh, here it is. So it's not working right now, but again, their big thing here is to take our money, right? If we go to this site, nonprofit, they've got a big call to action as well. What is it? To donate, right? That's the big thing. Obviously, you can get all sorts of information, but the big thing is they want to get folks to donate so they can go ahead and do the things that they're doing. And so in that case, if you think of your website as it's going to do two things, it's going to generate information, it's going to give people information on the practice, the location. You also want people to do something, and in most cases, it's the contact, right? We're not signing up unless you're maybe a consultant or you've got kind of a very specific reach. In general, you're trying to have people call up to set up an appointment and to do something like that. So that's why it's nice to have the end trail, as it were, be the contact us page. That's where we can go ahead and set up the appointment. They've got the request appointment button here, so people can use their this application information and all this. So when you're building the site, the about us, whatever top, the whatever menu you got at the top should link to the pages at the bottom, and whatever pages you have down at the bottom, when applicable, you can consider pushing them towards, the point of contact here. This structure is called a silo, and even if your menus go, they're not top side, but they're going sideways, it's the same concept. You want to have the least amount of these possible, so that way it's easy for people to make their choices. And then when somebody clicks on the top level menu, they should be able to then get to the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and fix this because just realized that it's this one. Veterinary staff. Okay, so let's fix that one. To fix a link, go to edit content. Anyone have any questions on what we've done so far? So to change a link, highlight the text, look for this little link button up here, and if you just hit this link list, you'll see the stuff here. So, meet the team. Honestly, this should be the entire thing here. They're all on the same thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that. Great, so now it takes them here. Everything is right in order. So again, these links are important. A very simple thing, but remember always that people are going to be looking at this on iPads, on iPhones, different technology, and whatever you can do to make things easier for them is going to make their world that much better, because then they can just click on things rather than having to scroll up and to use navigation, which can be a little dicey depending on what you are. And that kind of wraps it up for the on-site SEO. Okay, so we're going to talk now. These links are important because, again, Google is looking at that when they're putting the pages together. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead back to Search Console. All right. So inside of Search Console, and this is going to change, so I apologize for even showing you this. I know there's going to be a new version, and some of this, it's kind of weird because right now we're in the middle of these two. There's this new version that's coming up, but some of the features that are in here aren't in the new one. So I'm just going to just show you this just to, not to show you the application, but just the concept, right, of why it's important. Um, Google is Google is pretty straightforward about a lot of the things in search. I know there's some specifics where They won't tell you exactly what's going on in an algorithm. Like for example, they're going to rank something that has a mobile version higher, or somebody that has SSL, which is like this little lock. But I wouldn't worry about that. The big thing is that the big concepts are what's important here. So if you notice here, inside of search traffic, they've got the links to your site and internal links. So internal links are important. This is how you can get around from one page to another. And the more of these you have, the better, right? Because then um, you're able to then navigate the site. Here's all the different places where we've got links within the website to get from one page to another. We're making it easy for people if someone's on a mobile telephone to go ahead and get to that content. And then the flip side, this is where we segue into the offsite SEO. Here are the links to our site. So these are all the different places where we have other pages that are linking to us. We've got a whole bunch that are coming from eVetSites.net, VetClinic East. Obviously, these are our clients that are linking to us, but all of these different links are, help build our SEO. If you've got a site that has a lot of refers, or links, the technical version can be explained kind of like just a referral works in real life, right? So if one of you are in Davis and they say, "Hey, Jose, where's a good place to get pizza?" And I can say, "Oh yeah, there's Sidewalk Pizza, there's third place." Like it counts for something because that person lives there. And likewise, if I travel to your town and I ask you, "Hey, what's a good place to play vintage video games?" You could probably tell me, or maybe you'll wonder who the heck this person is in your lobby. But you can that referral helps because there's a degree of expertise. So there's quality in links, there's quality in links. They all count. It all helps to it. And this is why eVetSites ranks well, is because we've got all these referrals from our practices and from other organizations. It's not just vets, but there's other things there as well. So that said, when we go back to this report, having as many of these be accurate and have the directory listings be up to date is hugely important. I've got a list here. I'll go ahead and share this one here. This business directory listing is from HubSpot. I'll put it in the chat as well. And these are the ones that they recommend, the top 57. Honestly, about like the top dozen, 15 or so are like the big ones. And then all these other ones down here, it's in my experience that they sort of feed off of these ones out here. But you can go in and you can change the listing. You can do updates, and what you can do is you can really change. Once you do the claiming of your site, and there's a process which I'll try and touch on. I know we're running out of time here, but you can basically stake a claim on every one of these different pages. You may find one or two where they will ask for money. If that's the case, just ignore them. The big ones don't charge anything, and those are the ones that count. Facebook, Apple Maps, hugely important. And again, speaking about Apple, that's the default map application that comes with it. So if the dot for the business is in the incorrect location, or if you have wrong contact information, maybe an old phone number or an old website, that's a place where you can fix that. All of these, once you have logged in and claimed the site, you can also do things like move the dot. So for example, here's the one for eVetSites. And if I wanted to change where this is, I can adjust it, marker is placed incorrectly, and I can drag it. So maybe I could say it's closer over here because we are, literally in this building, although, well, all of these buildings are count. I mean, if you were to drive by, we're over here on this part of it. I won't do that right now if it's really not that big of a deal. It's not like we've got a lot of people coming through the front door, but you, you folks do. So this is why if you have maybe if it's set back, I've talked to people that have had businesses where it's on the wrong side of the parking lot, so the customers have to walk farther. Put it where it needs to go. Notice these other businesses down here that they've taken their claim. There's other businesses here. Let's see here. Let's see if the greenhouse shows up. Okay, yeah. So there it shows up. So there's you can do all this through the Google business page. In addition, and this is a big deal, you can respond to reviews here. We don't have any, so if anyone here wants to leave us one, we would appreciate that. You can respond to messages. There's a place there where, excuse me, you can have people text you or whatever, and they'll send the message through, and you can go ahead and see them. In addition to this, I do a little bit of volunteer work. So let me see here. Let me show you what one of those messages looks like. Oh, they don't have it here. All right, so here's a lady that's unhappy, and we tried to give her information. Even for nonprofit people leave bad reviews. But you can go ahead and make these changes, and the nice thing is, if there was a review, you can respond to it. Go ahead and say, well, are you sure this is the correct location? Or, we're sorry to hear about that. Please call us, whatever the case. You can also add photos so that you can go ahead and update it. If there's things like, for example, we've got these kind of themes that we've got for different parts of the year. Here's one of the outside of the office, which is kind of the default one. But you can certainly add different images to the page. So go ahead and kind of amplify it, especially if, like, for example, see how this has this tree in here. Maybe you can take a picture from the sidewalk so people can see the building and have a better idea of what to look for if they're driving to the location. So when you're doing these listings, this is a big part of it. The directory listings, there's a couple of different tools that you can use. One that I've been using lately is this one via Yext. And this is kind of, they do, again, this is a paid service, but you can still get some great information about it. So here we'll do this. At the very least, it'll tell you, give you a good idea of what it is that you need to do, right? So in this case, these folks have a good rate. They say they're not verified through Yext. So when you look at these listings, they're looking for a thing called NAP, name, address, and a phone number. These are, as long as these things are consistent, the site's going to do well. There's small inconsistencies. Pound 100, suite 100, right? But in general, look, we've got the name of the practice, we've got an address, we've got a phone number. And so for most of them, we're doing all right. Obviously, these folks, like everyone that's on this call, we're trying to pay our mortgages, right? So if you sign up with them, they will go at, there are places that will gladly take your money to do so. but you can do the majority of these for free. Whether or not you want to pay for a service or not is a decision that you'll have to make, and I can certainly discuss that with you. Again, if we do a one-on-one, we can probably go through and knock out at least the big ones on there, and then the little ones will soon follow. So let me put this one. I'll put this URL in there as well. I don't have any sort of eVetSites doesn't have any sort of relationship with Yext or with Moz, so I don't. We're just trying to show how we can go ahead and get information, just a kind of a bird's eye view of how well the site is doing through its listings, which is, again, very important so that we can see how it's showing up. And if you have a new practice, then that's a whole different context. This is super, super important because then we want to find out and submit it and get your site on there and the practice information out to as many directories as possible. The verification process, and unfortunately, again, the clock is ticking over here, but verification process involves sometimes a phone call. So they'll call the practice, they'll give you a code, then you fill it out, and then you prove that you're actually there. Sometimes the verification process happens with a postcard. And I've run into some interesting conundrums where someone is building the practice. So, for example, they've got a new strip mall, a new location. They're pouring concrete. They've got contractors out there, but there's no mailbox yet, or there's nothing set up. And on that case, how do we verify it? Well, I've had doctors have email forward, set up a PO box, rig up like a door with a little mail slot in there, all sorts of stuff like that. Those are things that we can. Those details are sort of things that we can dig in if we have a one-on-one. If you're an eVetSites member, and even if you're not, I'll be glad to help out as best I can. Again, these concepts that I've described here in the last couple of minutes are for the most part universal. The only thing specifics are the things on the actual mechanics of editing the page. So, for example, when I was talking about edit content or edit special or anything like that, those are just unique to eVetSites. But every website has the potential to go ahead and do that. And again, the majority of these, I would say 95% of these don't charge anything for anything like this. Okay, so just to review, we've covered some of the stuff that's the on-site SEO, which are the things that are on the website, content on the website, original content, links, and the way the page is put together. We talked a little bit about the tools that we can use, analytics, search console, and these website creators. Oh yeah, I didn't even do this one. I apologize. I had this one on the list. We'll get this one in. I'll put myself through the ringer. Let's see here. A little nervous, but what the heck? I'm feeling adventurous this morning. So this grader I've used before for some other sites. All right, not bad. I'll show this one to Paul. So this one tells us that the site's great. They're talking about the things that we've done. So the page size, page speed, some of this stuff has to do with the redirects, mobile. And this is the part that's really near and dear to my heart, the SEO stuff. So the page titles, the description, the headings, all of this is important. If you wanted to do a kind of a grade on yourself, I've included that also. And if you need help with these sections, again, contact me and I'd be glad to go more into detail, talk about the specifics. It doesn't have to be all 1 hour session. We can have a couple of different chats that are maybe in 15 minutes each. Whenever you've got time, I'll be glad to work around schedules and to get this done for you folks. Okay, anyone have any questions about what we've covered? I know we've covered quite a bit of ground. Bear with me 1 second. My monitor's going a little wacky. I think I may have opened up too many. All right. I want to invite you to follow us on social media before they all the tabs disappear. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/eVetSites, twitter.com/eVetSites, and of course, Instagram. Thank you all for spending time with us this morning. Again, my name's Jose. Support@eVetSites.com is our email. If you have any questions about anything that we've covered today, I'll be very glad to help you. Thanks for, again, spending some time with us, and we hope to see you next week. We're going to have another orientation where we discuss the website makeovers. So we'd love to also improve the aesthetics of the website. And again, there's no charge for that. No additional charge for the SEO, no additional charge for the SSL. Thanks again. Appreciate everyone showing up today.